but because I don't have suspicions, I'm suspicious. I have a feeling I'm not going to be able to solve this one. Oh. Hey guys, welcome to my attempt at solving the Death on the Nile mystery. I wanted to pick this book for February because a movie is coming out, and well, I will probably, most likely, not be watching the movie in February. I know lots of people wanted to, so I thought it would be fun for us to kind of read this one together and see if we can solve it. I did pretty good last month. If you've been here for a while, I'm doing this as a series where every month I've been trying to solve an Agatha Christie. And so now I'm worried that I'm going to be a little bit overconfident. So I'm trying to lower my expectations of myself and see how I do. If you want more insights to my solving method, process, whatever this is, my Patreon has a full-length video where it's pretty much double the length, showing more insights into me trying to solve this. So I don't know anything about this. I'm going to try reading the back here and we will see what this one is even about. The tranquility of a cruise along the Nile was shattered by the discovery that Lynette Ridgway had been shot through the head. She was young, stylish, and beautiful. A girl who had everything, until she lost her life. Hercule Poirot recalled an earlier outburst by a fellow passenger. I'd like to put my dear little pistol against her head and just press the trigger. So I kind of think that person's probably not the guilty one. Yet in this exotic setting, nothing is ever quite what it seems. And so this is another one of Agatha Christie's set in Egypt. She actually went there in real life, and so a lot of her books are actually set there or have some kind of reference to Egypt. So I always think that's interesting. Yes, this one is a Poirot story, one of the ones I haven't read. Still have a lot more Agatha Christie to go here, which I'm excited about. And I have, where did it go here? I was just gifted this Agatha Christie Complete Secret Notebooks book, and it talks about how she solves, like how she thought of the mysteries, kind of like the order of operations in her head of the mysteries. And so I read it for Crooked House when I read that story last month after I had finished the book, of course. And then after I am done Death on the Nile, I plan on reading this and seeing kind of how she thought it out. So the first thing for me to do is just to read the first few chapters. As I come across characters, I'm going to be writing them on my giant whiteboard over here, and I'm going to do my best to try to not miss any little clues. I've said it before, I enjoy being able to solve the mystery, but I also really enjoy not being able to solve the mystery, so either way it's win-win. But let's get started on this one. Okay, so it's been a few days, but I just barely started Death on the Nile. I'm on page 12, and I know a couple characters that I would jump on, say a little bit about them. So far we're meeting a lot of characters, but I think that some of them are just very, very side characters, and I don't have to write all their names down. We'll see. So the big person of the story so far seems to be Lynette Ridgway. She is a rich woman. She is inheriting has inherited her grandfather's immense fortune. I don't know what the fortune is from. She is 20 years old and also beautiful on top of being rich. So, you know, she's got people like tagging around all the time. And she is rumored to be shortly engaged to this man named Charles, who is also Lord Windlesham? It's spelled Windlesham, so I feel like he's sketchy right off the bat. If you got the word sham in your name, that's kind of sketchy. He already actually proposed to her. The world doesn't know this. She gave him a refusal, but not like a complete refusal. He thinks there's still hope. He thinks she just needs more time. And then we met two of Lynette's friends, Joanna, who we don't really know anything about her other than she's rich. And she only wants to be in the company of rich people. I have a very low opinion of her, but I couldn't actually like write anything down. And then her friend Jackie just came and saw her, and Jackie is broke, but she has always refused Lynette's money until just this meeting that just occurred. She has asked Lynette to give her fiance a job because something happened. He lost his job and she wants him to work for her. According to Charles, he described Jackie as a fiery little creature. So that's all I know so far. Gonna read some more. Hercule has just spotted, what's her name? Jackie dancing with her fiance Simon, and he mentions that she cares too much. It's not safe. No, it's not safe. I don't know what this means, how you can see this. Maybe she cares too much for the man? I don't know what this means, but something will probably come of this. A little bit more foreshadowing here. Jackie asks him if Egypt will be as marvelous to him as it will be to her. And there's this foreshadowing of I wonder by her and also Poirot. Okay, so I've been trying to read a bit more, getting some more characters, and things are like happening really fast so far in this book, so I need to update you on some of the characters and what's going on apparently. I'm at the very start of page 30, so I haven't read very much that far. And what I had written since I last updated, I added Simon in here, just that he's Jackie's fiance. And I wrote down that part of the reason Lynette doesn't want to get married to Charles is just that she doesn't feel like she's in love. She's talking about this estate that she has purchased and is kind of redoing, and if she marries him, she'll be his wife, and they'll have to, there's no reason for them to have two country estates, so they'll have to sell hers, and she's very partial to hers, etc. And then she met Simon when Jackie introduced him, and she was like, I might be interested. And then we met a few other characters that I'll quickly talk about here. We're just getting all the people right off the bat here. So I wrote some of them in here as I was reading. So we met a guy named Tim Allerton. He is friends with Joanna, who I still haven't actually written anything about. I called him a mama's boy. He had consumption when he was younger, so he's considered delicate in some ways, and he is a writer, or he writes, but his friends know that you don't like actually ask if he's producing anything, so yeah, whatever. And his mom is Mrs. Allerton. She dotes on him, and she doesn't like Joanna. They are kind of like, Joanna and Tim are gossip friends. I think they're actually cousins too, but his mom thinks that there might be, she's worried that Tim likes her a little bit more than as a friend, I think. It looks like they're going to be traveling to Egypt, and I'm assuming most of these people are going to be going to Egypt, although I just heard that Charles is maybe now in Canada, so maybe he's not. There's no crime happening yet, so I don't know what I all need to retain here. And then we met a girl named Cornelia Robson. She's a big clumsy girl with brown dog-like eyes. She is a social companion to this old lady named Miss Marie Van Schuyler. I don't really know how to say her name. And she also has another companion named Miss Bowers, and then there's this woman. They're also going to Egypt. So I'm trying to write down all the people that are going to Egypt because I'm assuming they're going to be there when this mystery happens. I have no idea what the actual mystery is, so that's kind of exciting. I like going into books blind, not knowing stuff. But then, right on page 30 here, we are at I'm assuming this is maybe like a law office, and this guy gets a letter, and he says Lynette's married. And she has married Dole, Simon Dole. So somehow, I don't know what the time frame is here, somehow she stole Jackie's fiance. So, yeah, and she wasn't married when she sent the letter, but she's supposed to be married the day that they got the letter, so yeah, I don't know. That's kind of unexpected. And one of these guys is maybe gonna go out there and see what's going on. So Lynette's going to Egypt for her honeymoon. I don't know, I'm just skimming the page here. So I need to read some more. But I feel like that was a big update, and I guess now instead of Jackie's fiance here, I need to write that that's Lynette's husband, assuming that actually went through. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know where this is going, but so far this is our character list, and then I'm assuming one of these guys, either Mr. Andrew Pennington or Mr. Rockford, Sterndale Rockford. I think one of those guys maybe is gonna also go to Egypt. I'll read a little bit more, but that's what's going on. This is the two, what I think are lawyers talking, and one guy says, got an idea, there's something whole in the corner about this business, that being Lynette being married, and that doesn't matter. The whole point is she's married. I don't really know what hole in the corner means, but I'm assuming it means like something sketchy going on there. It's making me curious to know if this was planned by Jackie and Simon. I don't know where this is going. Okay, yeah, so these American lawyers are talking about one of them going to Egypt, and this is like something's going on here too, because they want to kind of surprise her on her honeymoon. Maybe she won't notice that it's them, and this guy's got to pull it off because the situation's critical. Like, what kind of situation? What's even going on here? I'm not getting anywhere, and the plot is just thickening. Page 33 here. There's a letter from Lynette to, I think, her English lawyers, and she talks about how she happened to run into her American trustee, which is one of the guys from America, and then now this Mr. Carmichael is sending his son or nephew or something to Egypt. Everyone is going to Egypt, and like, what? I'm so confused. Now I can update, because now we have met Andrew Pennington, who is in Egypt, Jim Fanthorpe, who is the nephew to the English lawyer who is heading to Egypt, and then Mrs. Otterborn and her daughter Rosie also seem to be going to Egypt. Everybody's going to Egypt. It's the cool place to go. So I have a lot of people. So it feels like a very big cast of characters, especially considering nothing has happened yet. I will try to add all these people in. Okay, this is a much bigger cast of characters than I'm used to for an Agatha Christie book. So here's pretty much everything that I've told you about everyone. Some people I don't really know anything about yet. I did add in for Joanna, just that she's shallow. Okay, so I took Death on the Nile with me yesterday to my son's parkour class and got some reading done. I am like a page into chapter 6 here, and pretty much what has happened is Lynette and Simon are married, and they've been on their honeymoon. I think they went to Italy first, and now they're in Egypt. Everyone else is in Egypt as well. Lots I still don't know about some people, but one thing that I do know is someone that has been popping up along their entire honeymoon so far popped up in Egypt and all these different places, or popped up in Italy, all these different places, and now is there in Egypt, is Jackie. So yeah, she is very bitter about Simon and Lynette, which is fair. I am kind of suspicious by this whole marriage thing. Some of the things that, I don't know, maybe I'm reading too much into this. I kind of was wondering if Jackie and Simon were planning something other than just Simon working for Lynette. I felt like there was more going on there. And so what Jackie is doing is very stalkerish, but not like, she's not going too far that she could be arrested or anything like that. She's doing a lot of like sitting across the room and like staring at them and that kind of thing. So where I am right now, he is in the middle of talking to Jackie, and she is showing him that she has a handgun and how she's thought of killing one or the other of Lynette or Simon, but not both, because she kind of wants one to suffer, but she doesn't know which one she would want to kill. But now she realizes it's just so much more fun to see them suffering as she just kind of follows them and stalks them. I mean, obviously this is the book and it would be not a very interesting story, but like, get on with your life, woman. Yeah, we haven't seen much of these people. Some people, the whole Robson and Bowers and Miss Van Schuler, I don't actually know how to say her name. I don't think we've even seen them yet in Egypt. And I don't think Charles isn't there. I'm not sure if he's going to show up again. Tim and his mom are there, and the Otterborns are there, and the English and American lawyers and those people are there. And is Joanna there? I don't think she actually is. She's mentioned because Tim mentions that, tells Lynette that he is Joanna's cousin, but I don't think she's there. So I don't think Joanna and Charles are currently here. I always find it interesting when Poirot kind of goes over some of the people and like motives and stuff like that. No one's even died yet, but he's talking to Mrs. Allerton, who is, oh right, Tim's mom. All that I know about her, she dotes on Tim. And they were talking about, could this person commit murder? And he says pretty much anyone could be in the category of murderer. And she says, even her, like even she could do it. And he said, mothers are particularly ruthless when their children are in danger. So, I don't know. Interesting. I feel like this is one of the first Agatha Christie books that I've read where there's been a lot of characters that aren't really involved in the crime, the crime that still hasn't happened. But the Allertons are at dinner with Poirot, and they have a guest list, a passenger list. So they're going through and saying everyone. So someone that I've not met yet is Dr. Bessner. So we have the Allertons, Dr. Bessner, Miss Bowers, who I have on here, the Doyles, Mr. Fanthorpe, that's the nephew of the English lawyer, Mr. Ferguson. I don't have Mr. Ferguson yet. And then we've got the Otterborns, Mr. Pennington, which is Andrew Pennington, Poirot. Oh yes, there's Mr. Richetti, an Italian archaeological friend. I think Poirot met him at a museum right before this. I wasn't sure if he was going to be involved or present. So he's Italian. And then Miss Van Schuler. She's a very ugly old American lady who is clearly going to be very exclusive and speak to nobody who doesn't come up to the most exacting standards. And then Miss Bowers we talked about, and Robson. Okay, and I think that's all for our lineup. That's a big cast of characters, I feel like, for an Agatha Christie book. I'm now 144 pages in, and like, something's finally happening, but still not, you know, any death on the Nile. Jackie just shot Simon in the leg. She got drunk, started to make a scene. The only person in there was Cornelia, and she shot him in the leg and then instantly regretted it. Simon's lying on the floor. They're trying to keep this on the down low, get him fixed up, and help calm Jackie down because now she's threatening to kill herself. And it's chaos, but yet, like, no one has died yet. Okay, so Jackie shoots Simon. They get Dr. Bessner to help Simon. I think he fractured his leg, and also it's got a gunshot wound. And Cornelia and Jim stay for the surgery of the leg. Then Jim goes... Oh, and Miss Bowers is with Jackie because she is a nurse. She's with Jackie, trying to keep her calm, gonna give her some morphine. And then all I did was turn the page and read like a couple paragraphs on chapter 13, and apparently Lynette Doyle is dead, shot through the head last night. So who killed her? There's so many options. Thankfully I have a little bit farther to go before I have to think about trying to solve this. Okay, I'm on chapter 17. Lots of stuff is happening. We found out that Lynette actually had a maid on board. I'm assuming she is not very significant because we only heard about her after Lynette died. She's the one that found her, and she said that Lynette's previous maid was going to marry this guy that's actually on the ship, But then Lynette found out that this guy actually had a wife. And so she stopped that. So this guy doesn't like Lynette. But I kind of think that they're not suspects. Do I? I think so. We've got a guy named Colonel Race who is on board. He knows that there is someone on board that he is searching for that is part of some kind of, I don't even remember. I think he works for the government, something, and there was a group of people and there was like murders happened and stuff. He only knows that it's one of the men on board. He doesn't know which one. I don't even know. Does he even know it's a man? I think so. And so they're kind of going through and they're interviewing everyone. Pretty much the way it happened, they don't think that it could be Jackie. There is a bloody J written from Lynette's finger on the wall, but people think that might just be to throw people off. Yeah, I don't know. So far I'm just confused and I just don't know where this is going. Mr. Rachetti, he got a telegram a while ago that Lynette had thought was for her because she just read the first few letters of the last name and forgot that her last name is no longer Ridgway. And it was something about beetroots and potatoes, which could be completely innocent but also sounds like code for something. So I wouldn't be surprised if he's like the guy that Colonel Race is looking for, but I don't feel confident in any of my ideas right now. Okay, I am on chapter 24 and things just keep happening now. The maid has now been killed as well, so I didn't actually end up writing her down, but Lynette's maid is now dead and she was stabbed. And the string of pearls that Lynette usually wears was stolen, but then returned, but it was actually an imitation returned. And what's her name? Rosalie is hiding something. She saw someone enter Lynette's room when she was murdered, but she's, I think, too scared to say something. I'm so confused. I feel like there's clues here that I maybe could follow, but I feel like there's so many and it's so far down the line that it's a little bit above me. A lot above me, maybe. Okay guys, today is the day I figure out what is going on in this story. I have a feeling I'm not going to be able to solve this one. There's just too many threads going on here. Wow. Okay, now the last thing that happened last night when I was reading is Mrs. Otterborn was talking to Poirot and Race and telling them that she saw something on that night. And Race is like, she saw someone, yeah. And Race is like, and that person was, and then there's a bang. And Mrs. Otterborn's been killed. With the gun that was on whose nightstand? Mr. Pennington's. So it was Mr. Pennington's gun. So now she's dead. She's dead. She's killed with his gun. I feel like there's so many characters here. Okay, so there are now about 50-ish pages left. Chapter 26. I feel like I need to go over all the characters and give some thoughts. This is a larger cast of characters than normal, so I feel a little bit uncertain. Let's start in the bottom corner here. Dr. Bessner, he's a German and he reads a lot. I don't know, I feel like he's been a very like non-character. Same with Mr. Rachetti, he's an Italian. He did get that telegram and got angry at Lynette about, but I think maybe he's more the guy that Colonel Race is looking for and doesn't have anything to do with anything else going on. That's my suspicion there. So then we have Mr. Ferguson, who's kind of this guy that talks a lot against rich people, but then we find out from Poirot that he's actually, it turns out he's Lord Dawlish. He has a lot of money. Yeah, I don't think it's him. We've got Rosie Otterborn. She has talked about how she could kill Lynette because Lynette has everything, or did when she was alive. But I don't actually see her going through with that, but I don't know. I feel like she's like a maybe. We've got Andrew Pennington and Jim Fanthorpe that are people that have things to do with Lynette's money. Andrew is the trustee from the US. Jim works for the lawyers that have all of Lynette's stuff. It already seems like we know that Andrew is doing some sketchy stuff with the money and Jim is kind of there to make sure things stay above board. Yeah, Mrs. Otterborn is dead. Miss Bowers, so she's the nurse companion to the old cranky lady. She was sitting with Jackie the night Lynette was killed, or so she says, but she put Jackie under with morphine, so she could have snuck out and killed Lynette. Cornelia, there's a lot of talk of her being not very smart and super happy and loves everyone. It makes me wonder if it's like overplayed. So I don't have any actual suspicions there, but because I don't have suspicions, I'm suspicious. That always happens. We've got Jackie. I feel like they've really played the role, like really stated that it couldn't have been her, and then that makes me suspicious once again. But it does sound like she was being watched all that night that Lynette was killed, unless Miss Bowers is lying. And the only reason she would lie, I think, is if she snuck out. So I don't think it's Jackie. It could have been Simon. I mean, he was shot in the leg though, and he seems to be going downhill pretty fast. They need to get him to a hospital because they're still on this boat. It sounds like he's getting a fever, and so I don't think he could have like actually physically even have left the bed. But maybe he is getting worse because he keeps sneaking around, but I don't think so. And then we're on to Tim Allerton and his mom. These two I've been suspicious of the entire time. And there was a comment right at the beginning of the book how she was talking to Poirot about, could these people murder people? And Poirot said, a mother, never underestimate a mother's ability to commit murder for her child or whatever. So I'm suspicious for that reason. And then we've got Tim Allerton. He's suspicious to me. I don't know why he would be doing any of the killing. Like, that's my problem with all of these. Like, why? But he didn't like Poirot. And the thing that kind of makes me the most suspicious about him is that after who was shot? Mrs. Otterborn was shot. Tim was running towards them on the deck, which he could have been running the other way and then like pretended to run back. So I feel like maybe him. I feel like Tim is my most suspicious person. Maybe he gets 2 stars. So I'm going to continue reading and I may change what I think. But if I had to lock in right now, I'd go with Tim. They're going to talk to Tim now, which makes me think that my suspicions are incorrect here. Oh. So it sounds like Tim and Joanna were in a jewelry thieving thing together. So they stole and replaced Lynette's pearls with fakes and a bunch of other people's. Does that mean it's not Tim? Oh, I really have no idea. That would be how Tim had money to go on this trip after he got a letter from Joanna saying she stole the pearls, probably. Okay, so then Rosalie saw Tim leaving Lynette's cabin when he stole the pearls, but Rosalie has adamantly said she saw no one, but like there's a pause where you know she's lying. If it's not Tim, who is it? I'm assuming then it's not Rosie because she's also here. And if it's not Tim, it wouldn't be Mrs. Allerton. I don't think. This is a good mystery. Okay, so we're talking to Dr. Besner and Cornelia, and they're talking about the telegram. And it's this beetroots and potatoes and stuff. It's a new code used in the South African Rebellion. Potatoes mean machine guns, artichokes are high explosives. So Ricchetti is Colonel Race's man. I had one part of this mystery solved, but I still don't think he's the Death on the Nile guy. Was this all a plot like I thought at the beginning? Okay, so potentially what has happened here is Jackie didn't actually shoot Simon's leg when she said she did. They pretended that he was shot. Then when everyone else was running to do things, he went out and shot Lynette, and then came back and shot himself, and then threw the gun out the window. This was my suspicions like at the beginning of the book, but I wasn't suspecting this anymore. It annoys me when people that I suspected at the beginning are the guilty people, because I feel like I should have continued to suspect them. there's one I did not solve. I think I'm going to end this regular video here. For those on Patreon, I'm gonna go grab out my Agatha Christie notebooks book and read how she decided to create this one and share a little bit about that here. But for those who were watching on YouTube, thanks for watching. Let me know if you were able to solve it, and then I'm hoping to watch the movie soonish. So thanks for being here, guys.